Mic
Mic
check.
check. Mic check. Thank you, Brother Brian, for hosting tonight. Um, this is West Wednesday. We are at week 568. We just want you guys to stay tuned. We're gonna play the video that we play weekly, but stay tuned. We're gonna play a partial video, and we will be right back at you. Mic check.
Can't stop, won't stop, till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No,
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up. No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it up.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Oh, sir, do me a favor, take out your keys.
Dad, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings,
and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses. The N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mike? Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Juana?
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. I apologize that we are not outside in the streets as most of the times we normally be. Um, just planning, and I'm really excited about next week when we will be in the streets. And I'm urging Lottie Dottie and everybody to meet us down at City Hall. To meet us down at City Hall because next Wednesday, fortunately, falls on Juneteenth, which is a very important day, Juneteenth. So we want to see Lottie Dottie and everybody. We're gonna be there. And it's not just gonna be us. We're gonna be there with Palestine supporters and things of that nature. So we're ready to just do this because you can make the connection on all levels as to why this system is so dirty, so corrupt, and it treats humans like trash no matter what part of the world you're on. And it's just really sad. And as I watch that video, it breaks my heart because literally next month will be 11 years. 11 years since my unarmed big brother, and I will always call him my big brother. I don't care how old I get, I'm going to always call him my big brother. And it's just sad. He should be here. And then every time I look at the video and you see clearly, we saw Abdul Salam, literally. That was 2 weeks prior to my brother being murdered. Had they would have just placed Ruiz, which we highlight in this video, right? We got the focus on him, but my focus is on all 17 of the killer maniacs, the ones that stood around that didn't get my brother any help, first aid treatment, everybody that threw a haymaker, everybody that put their hands on my brother. I want your badges and I want you in a cell block for the rest of your life. That is my goal. And I know I'm being extreme, and it would be nice to have someone, especially killers, repeat violent offenders that put us in a vulnerable state. You think about when, if you're riding down the street and someone is like unfortunately trying to carjack you or rob you or do something, do harm from you. It's fight or flight. You're not going to stand there. You're going to just take off. But when you are pulled over for a so-called routine traffic stop and it ends up to my brother being brutally murdered is really heartbreaking and devastating. And like I said, as I looked at Abdul Salam, who literally had cries for help to not only save his life, but to actually stop what, could have happened, to my brother. All they had to do was put Ruiz and Chapman behind the desk on desk duty, literally for 2 weeks to a month and doing an investigation. However, I believe that my brother would still be alive. I believe that on the 17th, when Darrell, who thank God survived because he had someone in his vehicle to put, the video on live. These are real, like we're not making this stuff. It's not animated. We're not making anything up. This is real live, raw footage, you know, and it's sad and nothing's happening. Nothing's being done. And it makes me very frustrated because I feel like in this case that speaks literally for itself that someone should have been charged. And I don't just want you to be fired because you can go flip some burgers, you can go make some coins elsewhere and be with your family. I want you to sit back behind bars in a jail cell and think about what you did to an unarmed man. And it was ridiculous. And then to know that there were women as well as these other maniacs participating. Danielle and Latrice, you're trifling. You're no woman. You're not a woman. You guys are, I don't know, animals, savages. It's just sad and sickening that this type of thing is allowed to happen. And it didn't happen. They didn't do this thing to my brother in the back of an alley where no one could see it. They did this bold murder, bold, bloody murder in front of residents in a quiet community that was out there screaming, "Stop! Won't you leave him alone? What's going on?" type of thing. They threatened him. Ruiz is an animal. And then the fact that they allowed him to become a supervisor for what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And it seems like the more bodies that these animals murder, they get, they move up in stature. And it's sad and disgusting. It's a legalized game. It's almost like a game, remember. The bodies that you kill, you get, I guess, ranks and things of that nature. I don't know. I'm not a gang member or whatever. But this is a legalized game. So the more bodies that they get, the more brutality that they inflict on human beings, they get rewarded. They get qualified immunity while they cause havoc in our community. And it's disgusting. It is so sad. They don't get interrogated. If I was to go out there and I did what was done to my poor brother, I would have been arrested. They would have pulled me up on the spot. I wouldn't have had 30 days. And in my brother case, some of these maniacs had the nerve to show up 60 days, 90 days later. Because of the Officer Bill of Rights, which tells them, oh, you got 30 days or whatever, and then they change it, I think, to 15. But all that's a lie. It's a legal lie. That's what it is. Because in my brother's case, and back then when this happened, they were supposed to come within 30 days. Like I said, me going through my brother's files and paperwork and things of that nature, I literally saw what they did. I got tape interview where they came in, some of them 90 days later. And it was two of the jokers that who name remains anonymous that never got interviewed. What was they gonna say or what was they, not gonna say? We will never ever know. There was video footage. Let's be crystal clear. There was video footage that was floating around on Kenmore and Kelsway. But unfortunately, when my brother was executed in broad daylight, literally for a so-called traffic stop, literally, the very next day, commissioner at the time came up there and he pretty much Commissioner Batts came up the very next day, him and his goon squad, and they pretty much knocked on all the residents' doors and asked and demanded, let's be clear, they demanded that any video footage, any photos that they, you know, gave it up on the spot. And literally, like, if you're seeing a crime or things like that, you might have had a video, you're thinking, especially if you're naive, because at first, before my brother was murdered, I didn't think that, I mean, I knew that there's bad and good and everything, but I didn't know the corruption was this thick. I'm talking about layers of corruption. So if I was, back then, I might have would have trusted them to give them my video footage, thinking that they was going to do it. Because, and I'm be honest, when I first heard the name Internal Affairs, I really did not like. I was oblivious to all this. I'm not even gonna lie. But when I heard about Internal Affairs, I thought that they was really gonna, investigate and this is gonna be extreme. They're gonna look into it. Man, that's a joke, a big joke. All it is a regurgitation of what the killer cop says. And all that type of stuff should be demolished, knocked down. Like, we ain't going to straighten that out because they're going to always cover their hind parts and cover for each other. And it's sickening and sad. And as if that wasn't enough, the murder, the cover up was far worse. You literally had David Fowler and his goons, Pamela Southall and all of them. And this is not the West Coalition. This is Tawanda Jones speaking from my heart. This was my brother. And I'm going to call those jokers out. Those goons, the goon squad again, the hitters. You know, they pretty much covered up. All of them had a hand in it. David Fowler, Pamela Southall, all of them. They wouldn't even let us retrieve my brother's body. We had to wait 5 days after his beautiful daughter paid for everything, paid the funeral home, cold cash to go and get her father's body. And literally, they disrespected my family. They came down with foolishness that the funeral home, I'm sorry, never ever heard as doing a business for decades and decades and decades. And they call me and they say, Miss Jones, I'm so sorry. We're unfortunately not going to be able to transport your brother's body from the medical examiner's office to our funeral home. We apologize in advance, but I'm like, why not? What's going on? Type of thing. And they said, you know, we never heard of such, but they said that they can't transport the body on the weekend. We're going to have to wait. And I'm like, what? And they was like, we never heard of that. Never, ever. And just like the witnesses, let's go back to the scene of the murder. The witnesses said, and even reporters, trusted reporters came to me and said they never saw what they saw. They never saw all of the police like in a huddle as if they were playing a sport, a football team, worrying about their next move. They were all huddled up. They said it was at least 30 to 40 officers in a huddled circle. Their heads nods, down. Their heads were placed down and they were all talking in a circle. And the fact that normally when a reporter comes up, those bastards would be the first one to give a statement. They were sitting up there trying to cover their hind parts that whole entire time. And then they went to the neighbors. The neighbors was like, going through something. They were all crying and they gave their statements and things of that nature. But my whole point is, at what point will we ever have justice? I honestly don't believe in the justice system whatsoever. There is no justice. It's just us. Let's be crystal clear, and I'm going to repeat myself. There is no justice. It's just us trying to hold folks accountable. Because at the end of the day, justice doesn't look like me waking up worrying about my children, whether they're going to be pulled over, killed, murdered, or harassed, beat down to the ground, okay, by law enforcement or someone on the street that's doing crimes and things like that. And now, unfortunately, the officers are the biggest criminals. They're the ones covering up. Think about it. They're the ones committing these heinous crimes on us. And then they get to throw up the yellow tape that says, hey, we're taping this scene off. The only people that can come on this scene is us. The police are policing themselves. And nobody's doing anything about it. And then I even thought that with my brother's case now being placed in the AG's office, I was feeling hopeful. And a part of me still is, but it's a big part of me that's saying justice delayed is justice denied. What is going on with all of this? It's an easy fix. It does not take 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 to almost 11 goddamn years. Excuse my French. It does not take 11 years, right, to convict some stinking bloody murderers. It don't take that long. It depends on who kills who or whatever happens. Have you ever seen a community person kill somebody? Let's just imagine if me and my 17 friends went to go beat up Ruiz and did what was done upon my brother, and Ruiz wasn't here. I'm just saying. You know, would they take 11 years just to put me in a jail cell? Or no, they wouldn't. Like I said, they would have locked me up a long time ago and threw away the key. You would have never saw me. I would have been deemed a menace to society. But this is ridiculous. Why is this able to happen? You know, and as I think about Juneteenth, and and I don't even want to get into, you know, the slavery and when we were supposed to be free and all that, but we have been cheated and just pissed upon for over 400 plus years, and I'm really sick and tired of it. We're like the only race that literally don't even have human rights. We're like an animal has more rights, more respect than us. I remember even at the litigation table when they were trying to negotiate something that's non-negotiable, because there's no way that you can murder our loved ones and think that that's negotiable. It's not, hell no. First of all, if you murder me and you do anything to me, you better pay my damn kids and my family, because I am a provider. You snatch me away, so you owe them. You're not doing me a favor. Plus, I'm a taxpayer. You're taking my money and literally, paying my family. But then they want to use it as blood hush money. They want to keep a family quiet. But my point is, when I was at that damn table, I remember being eerily close in the next room to a white Caucasian family that had a dog that was murdered, and I care for animals, and I'm starting to care for them a little more, because now as a pet owner, because my baby girl decided that she wanted to get a little cat or whatever. But nevertheless, my whole point is, they were in the next room and they literally were for this maniac to decide to shoot a dog, right? They gave that family $1.8 million or whatever, and you literally gonna disrespect my family and pretty much give my family less. That's why I had to take my name off of it, and just like you got to be kidding me. And I promise my family, starting with my brother children first, that I was never going to ease up off of their hind parts, and I have never eased up. I have never stopped West Wednesday, and I put my life on the line. Like, I had freaking widows, coming to my playing with my cameras, all type of foolishness. I didn't tell everybody that, my Ring app was down for days. So apparently that person that they put out there must have thought my Ring app was down, because his butt grew wings and flew like I don't know what when the Ring app started to back talking. But if y'all think for 1 second that that's the only camera that's watching my goddamn house, you got to be kidding me. Let's be crystal clear. That If that don't work, I have plenty of backup that could show me everything. Let's be crystal clear. Especially, and you guys taught me, you guys raised me into the game. When you started doing foolishness, when I first bought my house 8 years ago, literally, and I'm so glad to get out the hood, and I couldn't wait to move here. You guys reminded me, and I even had a post box. I'm like, I don't want my address publicized, you to look me up type of thing. I had a post box. I'm thinking, oh, I'm good. Y'all showed me, y'all ain't even wait 24 hours. You sent a man wearing a damn Ted Bundy shirt to my house, parked outside, blocking somebody else's driveway. Literally, you can't make this stuff up, guys. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not hallucinating. So you can't say, oh, maybe she was like smoking some weed, or she might have been drunk or whatever. Don't drink, don't smoke. Sorry, pull that on somebody else. Okay? Let's be crystal clear. You guys could not wait to rag your ugly face. And then if you thought I was going to move up in here and not have some type of alarm system from day one, I had my alarm system going before I even got here. I didn't have the camera at first that could show me outside of my house, but I definitely had the people that if somebody tried to break in my house that I would get a call type of thing. But to make a long story short, you guys sent a maniac, a white man, to my home, blocking off traffic, another driveway, literally directly across the street from my driveway. This is how these maniacs do it with their intimidation tactics. They had this maniac literally parked across the street. This is the first day I'm sleeping. And you know how when you move into a new house, you get the best sleep ever. I'm like, yeah, my babies. I'm feeling my new room. I'm feeling my new atmosphere. I'm just like, woo, I'm so happy. Oh, you guys couldn't even let me enjoy and embrace that happiness for 24 hours. Early that damn morning, when I go outside, it's a maniac blocking my neighbor's driveway directly across the street from me. And he couldn't wait to run out of his truck and run over to me. Hey, how you doing, miss? How you doing, miss? I'm just letting you know that I'm trying to look for a house, whatever. And I'm looking like, first of all, I'm not gonna say, oh, I just moved around here. I don't know this man from a can damn paint. I'm not going to tell him my business. I'm like, I'm just ignoring him. Then he goes, and I go and I sat in my driveway. Now I get in my car. Now he went back to his truck. But I'm like, before I could pull off, I'm putting my babies on point. I'm putting my daughter and my bonus son on point. And I'm like, hey, it's a maniac outside. Whatever you do, do not open that door. If he knocks, I said, I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store to get our little stuff so I can cook us back some, throw us on something nice to eat this morning. But do not open that door. I said, he's giving me bad vibes. They're like, okay, man, they hang up. Then this creep is knocking on my damn window. So I roll my window down a little bit like, why the hell does he keep on talking to me? And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to freak you out. I'm just going to let you know that my vehicle is going to be parked over there. I'm just going to knock on a few doors because I left my tools in one of the houses that I was working on. And I rolled my window back up like, whatever, dude. Like, get out my face. So I pulls off. There's no other vehicles in my car. There's no sign that, nobody's at my house or nothing. Do you know, literally, I didn't even make it to the corner of my block. I had ADT calling me as well as my baby screaming and crying because this maniac now is trying to pull the windows up to enter my home. And I flew back. When I tell you, I never drove that fast in my freaking life, to the point when I pulled back, I busted you, came back around the corner so fast, pulled in my driveway. This joker was still in my backyard because my yard is kind of gated off. So he left the fence open. So I guess he must have ran and hopped into my backyard or whatever. And I ran in there. And the crazy part, I dialed 911. 911 is truly a joke, especially when they have you on the hitters list when they don't give a damn. I called 911. They never showed up. Literally, I had to call, my friend who was literally across town in West Baltimore, came within 20 minutes. But my whole point is, this is what they do. So if you guys hear that people are telling you stuff, and it may sound strange, it may sound weird, but please don't sleep on it. Believe what they're telling you. I don't even care if they do smoke, if they do drink or do drugs. Please believe them when they're telling you that somebody is doing something. Think about all the front line, right, people that was in Ferguson. Our brother, Mr. King, that put his body on the line, right? It was a lot of them, but a lot of them was found burned up in their car. And they send a very malicious message. When you messing with the popo, they send a very deliberate message. They'll either lynch you, they'll burn your car up, they're going to do something where they'll cut your brake line. When I tell you that I used to wake up, and I can go on and on, but I'm not. But my whole point is, I don't care what they do or don't do, is never going to stop me fighting for accountability, not just for my big brother, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. Because guess what? We make the clear connection. It's all the same corn. What side? The head or the tail side? It's the same corn. They try to play us like, oh, police brutality is over here, community violence is over there. No, baby. let me tell you, it's all connected and intertwined together to bring us down and wipe us out. So I just wanted to be clear on that. And that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing. Our special um West Wednesday is going to be next week at City Hall. I hope to see Lottie Dottie and everybody. So I'll post up the time we're going to meet there, but it's going to be Juneteenth. And let's just go down there, support each other. And, we should not have to wait until another body lays cold on the floor. Lies cold on the floor. We shouldn't have to wait till it be another Tyrone West or Anthony Anderson. We shouldn't have to wait for that. Like that is sad, or Timothy Flemings. When we go out there, I'm representing not just my big brother Tyrone West. I'm representing Timothy Flemings. I'm representing Anthony Anderson. I'm representing all the kings and queens, Sandra Bland, India Kager. I'm representing all Kevin Cooper. The list goes on. I'm representing all of our loved ones. And it said that you put your life on the line for Lottie Dottie and everybody. And then, you get threats, you get all type of foolishness. And it's just sad. But I don't care. At the end of the day, my heart is in it. And I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. So I'm going to check in real quick just to see. And again, I thank my brother Brian, our beautiful queen. Rachel couldn't be here tonight. And our brother Ben couldn't be here tonight. But I'm just glad this is how the West Coalition function. We always have each other back. And by the way, nobody here is getting paid. We're taking time away from our family. I even saw my beautiful queen, Nicole, on here early. I don't know if she hung up because she was outside. She might have left off, but I'm going to check to see if she's still on and want to say a few words. But she literally just lost one of her friends. And I'm sending oceans of love to her. But I want to check in real quick. Brian, is Nicole still on? Mic check.
Mic check. I'm here.
Yeah, she's here.
Awesome.
I'm here.
Okay, Queen. So you can go out. I'm gonna give the floor to you. You can say whatever it is you want to say, and then we'll check in with the comments type of thing after you're done, my queen. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. I just wanted to say, I was sitting here listening to everything that you were saying, Tawanda, and it is so sick and disgusting that we are still fighting this fight after all these years. And it seems like nobody is doing anything, is falling on deaf ears. That does
Yep.
not mean that we're going to give up, because we're
Yep.
not. We are going to continue on until we go on home to glory. And like my queen was saying yesterday, I went through a traumatic experience. I lost one of my best girlfriends basically right in front of me. And I've never experienced anything like that before. And it really took me through a loop. But I had to go and get my inner strength, because this is too important to me to let grief stop me from being here to represent for not only my father-in-law, but my daughter and Tyrone West and Timothy Fleming and everyone else who is going through what we're going through. We do this to let everyone know that somebody out here cares. Somebody out here knows for a fact that y'all family members matter. We all matter. We're not animals. We're not dogs. We shouldn't be treated this way. And as long as there's breath in our bodies, we are still going to fight, and we're going to continue to fight until we see justice or till we go on home to glory. You know, this is so hard for me to constantly come on here, because I'm representing two family members who lost their lives within weeks of each other. My father-in-law first on September the 21st, 2012. And then October the 7th, 2012, I lost my daughter to street violence. So I'm on both sides of the fence. I'm here with police brutality and I'm here with street violence. But just like Tawanda said, it's all intertwined, because they don't care one way or another. They're trying to do everything that they can to try to wipe us out. But we're not going to let this happen. We are going to keep on fighting. We're going to continue to fight. And I just thank you so much, Tawanda, for always inviting me, always speaking about my father-in-law and my daughter and everything when we're on here, acknowledging them, not letting their names die. And like I said, I'm just going to continue to fight as long as I have the strength and the life in me to fight alongside you, because I love you and I love everybody in West Wednesday. Thank y'all. Mic check.
Mike check, and I just want to thank you, my queen, because I don't ever want to feel that kind of pain, and I commend you on all levels. Not just like just fighting for your father-in-law, but actually fighting for your baby. Like that speaks in volumes. And then doing all the stuff that you do in the community, you and your husband with the football team to give our young men a chance to do things on a positive note, and then all the stuff that your husband is doing, both of y'all, not just your husband, because y'all are a team, and it's very commending. I commend you guys, and it's very honorable to know you guys. And y'all got your landscaping thing where y'all help out and just do things, and that's what's up. And I just wanted to commend you and give you your flowers now, and for you to have to literally went through what you went through, and
Thank you.
to actually have the strength to actually come on here today with seeing and being traumatized with trauma over and over again. My heart goes out. Like I wanted to, like when you sent the message yesterday in our group chat, our personal group chat, I just like, oh my God, and I was gonna call yesterday, but I didn't want to bother you. That's why, but I definitely made sure I called you today. I want to give you that space to breathe, and because a lot of stuff now that we're seeing, we never saw stuff like this before. And like I said, I just thank you. And then because I got on earlier yesterday and I saw you singing with your beautiful voice. It was your daughter's birthday, and I'm like, oh, she's singing. That's so sweet. And because I'm a Petty Nation fan. I get on there every day to get my laugh on. I be in the classroom like, okay, on my lunch break, like, okay, this is my time. Let me see what she got. And I was cracking up at one of your other thing. We be like, get some sense about yourself. I be down laughing. But when literally the day when I saw you go on and you were crying and serious, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, but for you to be here tonight in this space, going through what you going through, I just wanted to give you nothing but love and your flowers here, and just say, just thank you so much for just everything that you do, and all the positive stuff that you get back. Cause it's like we get hurt, we get traumatized, but throughout all of this, we still give help when we need help. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I'm to a place now, and I'm about to cry, because you get tired of people coming in your space, and you can tell them yes a billion times, but the one time you tell them no or you can't come through, they turn on you, and then they say that you turned on them. That's some hurt and disgusting stuff, man. Especially anybody that knows me know I would never turn on anyone. Never, ever, ever. I will give my life for the people that I love. You know what I mean? But it's a time where you get to a place that you can't do nothing but just pray. You know what I mean? You can just only pray if you're in the prayer, but it be so numbing. Like you be needing help. It's like, how can I give you more help than I'm actually giving myself? Because I'm at a place that I need help daily. It's just like we make it look easy. When we give people help, we make it look easy. And people sometimes push us underneath for the rug as if we are not hurting, as if we not, hurting, just seeing them go through something. And it makes us feel extra bad when we can't just grab them and put them in a safety bubble and run to the rescue. It hurts me real bad sometimes when I can't put my cape on and fly out here and fly over states and fly and do this and that for that. It hurts me. But I know at the end of the day, I gotta take care of myself. So whoever don't know that I love them by now, hey, you'll never know. You'll never know. And I'm not going to chase you down trying to prove my love or prove who I am. My work, my love proves itself. So I don't have to prove a damn thing to no one. That's where I'm at. I'm on the point that whoever wants to go out my space or circle, I don't care who you are. Bye bye. That's how I feel. Bye bye. Keep it moving. Because guess what? I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to love you. I can love you from a distance. But love don't hurt. Love don't hurt. I don't care if I'm in a personal relationship with you. If you want to put me on a sometime relationship and think we still in a relationship, then something's wrong with you. Like I got a lot on my mind today. The devil is a lie, and I'm telling the truth. It's a lot that, like a lot of stuff that I don't put my business out there, but I hurt too. I hurt too, and I'm to the point now with what you have just bear witness. What I've been seeing with people that like seem like people are just dropping dead. I hate to even use that terminology, but it's so sad. I'm trying to enjoy my life. I'm trying to enjoy these days and enjoy it with whoever wants to be around me enjoying it. That's where I'm at, my queen. Mic check.
Yeah, mic check.
Mic check.
Awesome. So Hillary, I want to turn it over to you, my queen. If you want to go and read the comments and questions, that would be awesome. Mic check.
Mic check. Sure, I can do it. So Bill says, very glad as always to be here for West Wednesday and the important anti-racist struggle against police terror. He also said cops like Danielle Lewis and Latrice Lee are even worse than Triflin. They are co-conspirators in the police murder of Tyrone West. Judas Adashi says, belated mic check. Bill says, announcement. There will be a memorial for Donnell Rochester on July 6th at Penn and Baker from 1 to 5. And Judas says, I'm so sorry for the loss you experienced recently, Nicole. And that's it for now. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. And thank everybody, Judah, and everybody that commented. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. And if you're on YouTube watching this, all we ask that you do is subscribe, share, and that's it. You know, you get the like, thumbs up button, but like, share, and subscribe because at the end of the day, you're watching this, but this could easily be your life. You could easily be going through the things we're going through, and we don't want anybody going through that. But anyway, Bill, I wanted you to share the information that we talked about in our planning meeting yesterday on things that was happening and make that connection like you always do. So I'll hand it over to you before we go into our sad list. Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, so 12 days ago, and we missed the opportunity to mention it last time, but 12 days ago on May the 31st, it was the memorial of the Tulsa massacre, Tulsa, Oklahoma, which occurred on May 31st, 1921. And I have to give a little trigger warning because some of what happened is very gruesome, and most of what I have to say won't be gruesome, but here and there, it can't avoid some of that. So in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was a black neighborhood called Greenwood. Greenwood was a very prosperous neighborhood. Someone called it the Black Wall Street. But anyway, there were quite a few businesses, lots of people who worked and made a good living. And what occurred on May the 31st in 1921 is that there was a false rumor that a young black man had attempted to rape a young white woman in an elevator in Tulsa. And after that, the racists in the area sided with the police and the National Guard, and they destroyed 35 square blocks of Black Tulsa, and in particular, the Greenwood community. At that time, Greenwood had about 10,000 black residents and stretched more than a mile. More than 1,250 homes in Greenwood were set on fire. Many of Greenwood's residents were shot and burned beyond recognition. Estimates are that between 70 and 300 people were killed. The numbers are uncertain because a number of the bodies were dropped in unmarked graves. Others were thrown into the Arkansas River, and many black survivors had to flee to save their lives and couldn't keep count of who had been killed. Plus, many of the black survivors never spoke of it, not even to their children, because they were fearful of a repeat event. And also, like survivors of the Holocaust against Jewish people, they didn't want to burden their children with the horrible stories. About 8,000 residents of Greenwood were left homeless. And for many decades, none of this was mentioned in the curriculum in the Oklahoma schools. It was wiped out of history. In the last few years, there were 3 known survivors of the Holocaust. Well, not the Holocaust, excuse me, of the massacre in Greenwood. One was Viola Fletcher, one was Hughes Van Ellis, and one was Benningfield Randall. And they spoke at Congress a couple of years ago, calling for reparations for all that had been done. The racist violence in Greenwood included machine guns and turpentine bombs coming down from aircraft. One survivor saw white women with shopping bags enter the homes of Greenwood residents and take everything from clothing to silverware to jewelry. The survivor heard a white man say, quote, "These damn Negroes have better things than lots of white people." The fire department was summoned, but never arrived. Police officials deputized white men, gave them weapons, and gave them ammunition. And according to firsthand accounts, the police themselves also participated in the deadly violence. Some Greenwood residents tried to defend themselves, but they were outgunned. Not a single person or entity, like the police department or fire department, has ever been held responsible. In May of 2021, the survivors I mentioned testified at Congress. One of them was Hughes Van Ellis, and this is what he said when he testified in Congress a couple of years ago. Quote, "You may have been taught that when something is stolen from you, you can go to the courts to be made whole. You can go to the courts to get justice. This wasn't the case for us," and I'll add, or for Tyrone so far. The courts in I'm continuing the quote. "The courts in Oklahoma wouldn't hear us. The federal courts said we were too late. We were made to feel that our struggles were unworthy, unworthy of justice, as is the case for Tyrone. That we were less valued than whites, as is the case with Tyrone. We were shown that in the United States, not all men were equal under the law." And I would add all people, so that we had cover the genders. We were shown that when Black voices called out for justice, no one cared. And then he said, "Please do not let me leave this earth without justice." And I'll point out that this gentleman, he passed away in October, just this past fall, at 102 years old, with no reparations for the obliteration of Greenwood. So that's the massacre that occurred in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the 103rd anniversary of it was just a few days ago. I want to contrast that. There were a number of race riots in that time around the United States, and one of them was in Chicago. And in Chicago, we had a very different situation because there was a union being formed for the workers in the packing house industry that packed meat into cans. And it was the first massive multiracial union drive ever. And people that own those big packing house industries wanted to have a race riot so they could tear the workers apart and weaken the union movement that was fighting for better conditions for those workers. So on July the 6th, 1919, a big parade of Black and white packing house workers marched through the south side of Chicago in an effort to preserve multiracial unity and prevent a racist attack. But on July 27th, the hoodlums organized by the owners of the packing houses started a vicious attack on Black workers, and virtually a civil war raged for 2 weeks with 6,000 police and soldiers mobilized to attack Black folks. And in one of organized labor's most shining moments, at that time, 30,000 white packing house workers met, protested, marched, and pledged solidarity with their Black brother workers and demanded the withdrawal of the armed forces, which had done most of the killing. So here we have two horrendous, massive, violent instances of racism. But in one case, the Chicago case, there was a tremendous amount of Black-white unity, and it made a huge difference. And that's one of the things West Wednesday strives for, too. So I just wanted to point out both of those events. That's it. That's the report. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. And thank you for sharing that, because we definitely need to stay up on top of things that sometimes we might slightly miss, and that's just sad. And I remember seeing like the movie like years ago. I couldn't even watch it. Like it broke my heart. So it's just sad. But meanwhile, even though we watch stuff on a screen, this is the life that we have to live. And it's not funny. It's not entertaining when you actually live that. When you're sitting back on the opposite side of the screen looking in, it's like, oh, but when you're actually living and dealing with the trauma, it's not the same. So don't wait till you're on the opposite side of the screen, actually living in the pain before you try to make a difference. That's my whole point. So I want to check in again, Hillary, and I also want to check in with the West Coalition to see if anybody else wants to add to what Bill just said, or just add their own question or comments before we read the comments and then go to our sad list. Mic check.
Mic check. Tawanda, there's one more comment. Judah said it's significant that the Tulsa massacre was sparked by a lie about a Black person in 1921, just as would happen with Emmett Till in 1955. So commenting that things like that have kept happening.
Yes, and unfortunately, and that's a good point, Judah. And it's still happening. It's like a lot of things that the media tells us, but if we be our own conscious consumer, we can find out stuff that they're not even telling us or talking about. And it's sad and disgusting. So just wanted to thank you. And I wanted to, again, check in with the West Coalition before we move on, unfortunately, to our sad list. Is anything or anybody want to share anything? Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Twanda,
Yes.
I just want to call people's attention to something that appeared in the Washington Post today. It's an article about police who are involved in child sexual abuse and the prevalence of that. And they they took a 17-year time period, and they found about roughly an average about 100 police a year being charged with those sorts of crimes. And in that time, most of the ones who were charged were convicted, but of the ones that were convicted, 40% never went to prison, and half of the ones that did go to prison went to prison for short terms, like less than 5 years. Many of them like a month or 6 months. Or we get work release and things like this, and a lot of them were like multiple offenders, and it's hard to read, but it's we talk about the victims who survive and the importance of being aware of them as well. So I just wanted to draw people's attention to that article in the Washington Post today.
Thank you, Brother Brian. Thank you so much. Mic check.
Mic check.
Check.
Mic check.
Okay, well, it seems like our hearts and minds are clear to move on. And before we do, I just want to thank everybody again for your time, for tuning in to our broadcast tonight. And then I'm looking forward to seeing everyone come out who can next week for Juneteenth, where we come together and, and just talk about the real issues that's happening and how we make the connection. So looking forward to seeing y'all next week, and I'll give you more details as we go on. So this is the part that I don't like, and unfortunately I'm unable to read the our disclosure, but I'm going to try to memorize it. I think it's meant for me to try to memorize it. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, it's our mission of the West Coalition, to come from a caring place. And, we get these names on a national and local level, from local and national media. And we have no ideas about or any information about the people that were killed. And we know that on a national level that we're reading from, we know that all people, are not just pretty much gunned down. That some people, unfortunately, like my brother Tyrone West, Freddie Gray, things of that nature, had are not gunned down by the police. And when we're reading the list, we're reading from the Washington Post, but we are looking into options to switch and give you guys, and we'll be bringing you guys that soon as well. But
Excuse me,
yeah,
Tawanda.
yes.
We're actually switching tonight, so the list starting this evening does include people who were killed by police by methods other than shooting.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Because I didn't know how soon it was going to start, but thank you for sharing it. So, but even with us getting the different victims now, because again, like we say, everybody that dies in police care aren't just gunned down. But tonight we're reading from a new list, and once we read from that, we'll share where we're getting the information from as we read it. But again, these are real family, real life, and we're just coming from a loving place. And we do believe in mediation. So if there's ever a conflict, instead of, fighting it out, let's talk it out. Let's resolve that way. We believe in a peaceful way. We believe in love and peace. And that's my whole point. So, um, and we don't have any detailed information about none of the names that we read from either list, from the community violence as well as the police brutality list. We have no detailed information, and we apologize if we offend anyone as we read these names. So I would like for us to take um 2 minutes. The time now is 7:57. Let's take 2 minutes. If you're into praying, say a prayer. If not, just send lots of love, lots of healing our way. Mic check.
Mic
Mic
check.
Mic check. Thank you guys. The time now is 7:59, so we can go right on to the list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic
Tawanda,
check.
do you want to do community violence list first or the national one?
We could do the community violence first, if that's okay.
Brian, do you have that?
Yes, I do. So, we every week try to lift up the names of people who've died here in Baltimore this week, and talk about or to just try and uphold their families, their friends, and and just treat them as human beings. And so I'm just going to read out. We have 3 names. There have been several more deaths this week, several more homicides this week, and we'll read those names out as we get them. But for this week, I'd ask you to uplift Terrell Johnson Smith,
Terrell
Johnson Smith,
Travis Bell,
Travis Bell,
Marcus Brown,
Marcus
Brown.
Thank you.
Okay, and I have the new list that we have. We are getting this from a nonprofit organization called Mapping Police Violence. and they have published date through 5/31/24, and I will be reading the list. And remember, as we think about these, to remember all the families and all of the people who are left behind. It doesn't say how each one of these folks were killed, but they were all killed by the police in different places in this country. So we have a semi-long list, but it starts on May 28th, 2024. The first one in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it was 20-year-old Jarrett Gray.
Jarrett.
Gray.
The second one on May 28th in Daytona Beach, Florida. 40-year-old Michael Edmondson.
Michael Edmondson.
The next one, again, on May 28th, 2024, in Salisbury, North Carolina. 36-year-old Kenneth Vickers.
Kenneth
Vickers.
Mhm. Then on May 28th, again, 2024, in Phoenix, Arizona. 48-year-old Sergio Alvarez.
Sergio Alvarez.
Mhm. On May 28th, 2024, in Newton, North Carolina. 33-year-old Jamar Franklin Robinson.
Jamar Franklin Robinson.
Mhm. On May 29th, 2024, in Prescott Valley, Arizona. 45-year-old Aaron Nielsen.
Aaron
Nielsen.
On May 30th, in Lebanon, Oregon. 49-year-old Gino Marcosia.
Gino
Marcosia.
Marcosia.
Mhm. On May 30th, in Jackson, Mississippi, a male that the police have withheld the name of.
Cell blocks.
Blacks for killer cops. I say.
Ashe.
We'll notice that in this list, it doesn't just say unknown. It says the names are withheld by police. So we'll be reading it as they have it. Also on May 30th, in Silver Spring, Maryland, an unknown male, name withheld by police.
Cell blacks for killer cops. I say.
Also on May 30th, in Miami Gardens, Florida, I'm sorry, hang on a second. This is 27-year-old male, Daniel Lewis.
Daniel Lewis.
Mhm. Also on May 30th in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 35-year-old Mustafa Muhammad.
Mustafa
Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. On May 30th in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a male, name withheld by police.
Cell blacks for killer cops. I say.
And on May 31st, 2024, in Saybrook Township, Ohio, unknown male, name withheld by police.
Cell blacks for killer cops. I say.
And that concludes our list for now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank our brother Brian, and just thank the whole West Coalition, Uncle Bill, as well as Nicole who participated tonight. And thank you guys for watching. And again, remember, please mark your calendars. And I hope to see everybody. And we know that the weather's going to get even hotter, as we approach. And I guess next week will be the official turning point of summer, but it feels like summer now already. But anyway, we're looking forward to seeing you guys on Juneteenth at City Hall. We'll announce the time and everything else this week. And unfortunately, the way we brought you in with the very difficult video that's hard for me to watch, that I have to relive this nightmare and the reality that my brother Tyrone is no longer here, and that not only my brother Tyrone is no longer here, but the poor victims that survived, the hideous, heinous attacks of Ruiz, as well as these other maniacs that are still working, but we highlight Ruiz. But again, I want all 17 murderers. So again, remember, live to love to live. Stay tuned for the video. I love you all. We will see you in person next week. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges, like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's attorney see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.